intellectual property and corporate attorney. I run and own my own law firm. I am based in Miami with an office in Fort Lauderdale and a home office in Marina Del Rey, so I can be pounding those LA streets, of course. I'm primarily music-based, but I also do fashion, film and TV, fine art, and professional athlete representation, but mainly they're off the field, off the court exploits. I do basic corporate, well, yeah, in a good way though, exploits, but we do basic corporate formation, corporate governance, and structuring. Any and all contracts, that's basically what I do all day, every day is contracts, and helping people set up their companies and then put in place the right agreements that are going to help them capitalize on their corporate structure and their clients. And then I also do trademark and copyright protection.
All right.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. Hello, everybody. I'm Tom Otiano. I'm the CEO of Today's Business and Today's Athletes. To give you a little background on myself, I was not that guy that was on the practice squad. I played 2 years in the NFL, bounced around a little bit, had a cup of coffee, I like to say, at the least. Definitely like being on this side of the field a lot better. But that journey started about 6 years ago when I was right out of college, got cut from the New York Jets, and my college roommate called me up and said, hey, listen, I have a kid that can build websites. And he was my best friend from high school, and I think you and I can do something really cool together. So what we did is we had an idea of starting a social media marketing company. So to really explain where we've taken that from to where we are now.
By the way, how much money did you have to start?
$400.
And you were in a room?
We were in a basement. And then we were above my family's restaurant, about 100 square feet, legitimately.
Amazing.
But to really sum up what I do now is everything that he just talked about on the protection side, we help build the brand. We help monetize that brand, not only in that standpoint, but we have an ecosystem of what we do is we represent brands on one end and also the athletes, entertainers, and influencers on the other hand, and we help connect everybody through our ecosystem.
Can I tell them real quick who that guy was, who is your best friend and partner?
You won't say.
All right.
Come on, Tom.
So, what city are we in?
Boston.
Okay, so what's the team here?
Patriots.
Okay. Any Patriots fans here? All right.
What? Oh my
So it
goodness.
just so happens that guy is Chris Hogan, number 15 Super Bowl champion.
Hey!
Mr. 7-Eleven
Yes.
himself, always open.
Yeah.
And these guys build that together, man. Beautiful. You and your team are incredible.
No, I appreciate it. No, it's definitely been a fun ride, and like to kind of intertwine everything that we are going to be talking about is that as well as you can build a brand, you have to protect the brand in every aspect, and always try to like maximize every opportunity and every capital standpoint you can.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us first. Let's start with maybe a little bit of that. What are some of the first steps you want to take?
Yeah, so one of the first steps in going based on what Rodney was talking about yesterday, it's do you, all right? It's do you. You can start your own company. You are your own executive, right? So the first step is starting your own company. It's structuring an entity that you can run your business through. That's going to protect you from a taxation standpoint, from a liability standpoint. It adds legitimacy to what you have. And of course, you can attract investors once you have the right agreements in place. I don't want to keep rambling about law.
No, that's okay. But which leads to questions like, for example, okay, so if I'm an artist and I finally went online and got my LLC or
a corporation.
There you go.
Either one. Typically the model these days is an LLC. You can actually, and not to get too much into tax, you can actually elect for corporation S-Corp tax classification with an LLC. So if you still prefer that kind of taxation, you can still do that with the limited liability company.
Yeah, to kind of amplify what they're talking about a little bit is to always know that you're the CEO of your own brand, regardless of any aspect. You're always going to be the CEO of your own brand, so that means that you have to protect that brand in every way, shape, or form, and look at everything from a profit and loss standpoint from a high level. And as you guys grow into your careers and focus on building that brand and truly capitalizing on building that audience right now, just always remember to be the CEO of your own brand at all times. Like, you make those decisions and you have to protect them.
Right.
Yeah, and now once you have something set up, right? Now you're ready to start going out there, and obviously you want to, first of all, I know most of you do this. You make your product, because that's what we as artists usually do. We work on the product and the craft and this and that, and then don't forget that this is what you want to have it under your company, right? Because that's your IP, your intellectual property.
Right. Yeah, and also, so I'm primarily music-based, like I said, so I'm going to give some music examples. So as part of that, being your own executive and being your own CEO and putting out your own music, which you have the opportunity to do these days much easier, you want to sign yourself to your company, potentially. If you're an artist, structuring your own label deal and then signing yourself to your company is very important. Not only does it provide for you to do better producer agreements because you actually have royalties going back into your company, but then you can also attract investors because it's not all just going in your pocket. Half of it or a percentage of it is going right back into the pot so that you can continue growing your brand and your company.
Yeah, no, I think that also learning the experience of actually running your own business and doing those things where you can have potential aspects of like even write-offs for like certain opportunities. You might think about traveling and buying lunch for yourself between a session or doing things.
Or buying equipment.
And buying equipment, and those could potentially be a write-off to you as a company, as an entity, to really help really conserve your inflow of money.
Absolutely.
So let's pretend for a second, well, I don't have enough money to get a lawyer, so what do? I register my company.
Sure.
I'm ready to go on that front, but so how do I start getting music production agreements or those kind of things? What can I do to protect myself in the meantime till I can afford you?
Right. Okay. Well, so I mean, from a copyright standpoint, copyright is very cheap to do. Okay, and it's very user friendly. I actually don't even have my clients pay me to do their copyrights anymore unless they ask, because it is a very user friendly click through menu. It's copyright.gov. And that's going to be so that's going to be one of your first steps that you want to do. Trademark is much more costly. Same with patent. So copyright, again, protects works of art, so a photograph or painting or, of course, music. Trademark protects brands, slogans, and then patent protects methodologies and inventions.
So Tom, when you are already a brand and you got some things already going and you want to put out that brand new logo or this or that, t-shirt designs or whatever it is that you're pushing out, how do you go about that? How do you go about protecting your IP and the stuff you do?
Well, it's all about finding that audience. I know we talked about a lot yesterday throughout the day about like capitalizing on those super fans. Right now, to be honest with you guys, from a digital marketing perspective, and just to give you guys an understanding, if you hear about the whole athlete aspect of what I do is fun, cool, but I would never have gotten to this point without having a digital marketing agency. So a big part of what I do is that we manage brands' digital marketing. So from everything from a website development and management of the website through their social media content to now plugging in the influencer, athlete, or entertainer as ambassadors to the brand to help amplify everything. But right now, as like artists and entertainers, you should be focusing on like really tripling down on building your audience, right? Like on all aspects, and finding out, like, set up your Instagram, set up your Facebook accounts as business and business accounts, and acquire that data. So when you have your IP and you have all your product ready to roll, that you could serve that audience what they want to hear.
Right.
And as just to add to what he just said, remember that right now, until you can get to this, you are your digital branding agency, okay? You are that agency. So your job is to make sure that the product is going to be face-forward ready, right? It's going to be ready for the fans to be able to go. And don't forget to create that narrative that people are going to care about in order for them to follow you. Because if you don't have that, then there's no brand.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and then you worry about the protection of the stuff.
And be consistent with it, because and you could change it at a hat at a dime, but you really have to be consistent with that approach so you can really serve that audience what they want.
Like what we were talking about yesterday, brand integrity and having that trust in your brand. We know what to expect from that brand, and then we protect that and we stick with it.
Excellent. That's great. So now that we have all of that set up, we have our branding, brand integrity ready, and all these different things. So as far as as most people are just basically creating a package, right? And that's the idea at the very beginning. You want to create a package for you to be able to talk to who? Investors.
Right.
Or potential sponsors, or people. Nowadays, by the way, there's many ways to talk about acquiring funds. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you want to prepare that very, very, very well.
Yeah.
So the preparation of that package is probably one of the most important things to create finance opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, and then just educating yourself too, going back to your question about how do we protect ourselves before we can afford it. Unfortunately, I'm not going to lie, lawyers aren't cheap. So you have to put money aside for those kinds of things once you start getting to a certain point. But again, education process, information, what we've been talking about the entire conference, is super important. There's a lot that you can learn about just basics that will save you legal fees. When people come to me and they explain to me that they're from a startup capacity, they need some help, but they've also put in the time to learn, I'm more than willing to help them and give them breaks.
And before we go to Tom, I want to say this very, very important to you guys. Listen, you ready? No matter what, save that money and get one of these guys. Do not allow people to get you in that committee that talks to you and puts that doubt in you. Look, it's important that you realize that attorneys are necessary, they are important, and they can be your friends. This is my friend. This is not just an attorney.
We're not all bad.
A advisor. He's been there through good and bad. Do you understand? So you have to understand that if you create that relationship, by the way, it's on you how you create that relationship. It's not on them. They're all business. But if you are real and you have integrity and your product is amazing and they believe in you, once in a while you'll find somebody like him,
Thanks.
And somebody like that believes in your brand. So bottom line is just know that it is important to save that money, borrow that money if you have to at the very beginning, to prepare yourself with the proper agreements, because that's crucial when you walk into a recording session, right?
Right.
And everybody's like jamming and everything's good and everything, right?
Right. But then what?
Then you're done, and then what happens?
Right. Well, then you run into issues, and you don't want to be addressing them after songs have come out. Another I heard somebody sigh, so
that was my hook, man. I wrote that.
Right. And another thing too is from the beginning, startup costs are higher. Once you have agreements in place, once you've taken the time to actually read what you're sending out, what you're signing, then you should become accustomed to it. You're going to have these in the bank that you can start using.
All right, so to add on to what they're 100% right in every aspect, but to really try to, we live in an entrepreneurial world, right? Why we're here, why we're talking in front of you is because we have that entrepreneurial mindset, and we are entrepreneurs by heart and trade. So leverage what you guys have. I talked about building your audience. Like, I'm telling you, about 90% of the opportunities that we curate for a lot of our athletes or entertainers or influencers all come from like direct contact through Instagram or social media, right? It's not like the old ways we find the CEO's email or the marketing manager's email. So you guys now have opportunities as like artists to create some sort of income for yourselves as you're producing your money by leveraging your social media, right? It's not that difficult. You can go to a brand, be very professional about it, ask them to send you product for free. And then after that aspect, and you start seeing, you enjoy the product, then you go to them and say, hey, listen, is there any way I become an affiliate to that brand, and ask them for some sort of compensation for any piece of item that you sell for them, and then that's what you would need an attorney to kind of look at. Those, most of the time, to be honest with you guys, are very simple agreements, and they're very non-binding. So like those are okay to sign and get yourself into, as long as there's no exclusivity. But there's Amazon. There's all these avenues for you guys right now to leverage what you enjoy to do, like on social media, and produce content to show people and actually get paid to do things.
When you're first starting with your clients, how do you start the selection process? How are you looking at which brands to approach?
So it's been interesting now because we started out from the fact that we really, I'll be honest with you, Chris Hogan, right? That's a story in itself where the kid played 4 years of lacrosse and played 1 year of college football, and now is catching touchdowns from Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. That brand has all different standpoints on it, but to be honest with you, we're hunting. So, when we sit down with an athlete or an entertainer, we really assess everything they're looking for and really try to absorb their passion. So when you're passionate about something, as I am in telling you guys my story and about a business, you sell it better. You're more attracted to it.
Character and passion.
Yeah.
Right.
That's going to attract the right people. And I want to add something to what you said just a minute ago. Do you want to get paid based on time, or you want to get paid based on results? Make that decision today. A lot of you are probably like, yo, what's up? This is how much it is. I don't know what you can do.
Yeah,
I don't know how if we're going to work together or not.
Right.
Let's show each other what we can do. Let's serve one another. And then guess what? What's going to happen after? The result will pay off.
And just one more addition to outside creating your own wealth, but also protecting yourself in the circle that you're around, that stands around you. I mean, I've seen it we've been in the game for 6 years, right? And I'm 29. I don't know everything. I haven't seen it all. I'm not going to lie to you guys about it. But I have seen people get taken advantage of, and then we're picking up the pieces
That
of
never
that pie.
happens in the music industry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all about the decision. Like I said to you before, you guys are the CEO of your own brand, and the team you surround yourself with, when you're from my personal perspective,
Protect your energy.
Right.
Yeah, my
brand
circle-
integrity, again, what we're talking about.
yeah, my circle really got smaller, and my vision got clearer. But at the same time, my profits got bigger.
No doubt.
Right.
Hey,
That vision
Yes.
got clear.
hey, not everyone's meant to come on this journey with you, and that's okay. You can love them from afar.
Yeah, it's
You
true.
know? So
Right.
just protect your energy, protect your people.
Yeah, and your team. It is a team. I mean, and that's why you network with the right people, capitalize on who you're literally collaborating with. In
Right.
the music industry, it's a big impact.
Yeah. And I'm going to say a few more things, and I want you guys to outro with some
Sure.
messages for them.
Or if there's
But-
any questions.
Yeah, and that's more important.
Free legal advice right now.
There you go. Okay,
it
well,
now.
actually, let's go to that. Who's got questions right now? Because
So, how do you establish credit through your business to high loan?
You want to take that?
Yeah.
here, give him the mic. Repeat it again, Rio.
What's up? I'm Chris. How do you establish credit through your business and not through your personal?
Great question.
Man. So to give you the very short answer is that we're 6 years into business, right? I've done over $16 million in sales. I just got institutionally funded. So that means that I had not had to put any I leveraged my house last year. I've maximized every credit I could possibly do, but I also knew my business. So I'm not saying to do that and go out on a wing and maximize your credit, but I knew my P&L.
Sounds like an entrepreneur.
So getting back to that is that it's going to take some time. You're going to have to build on your personal, credit for a while, and then you'll start noticing once you have the ability. I like to say on a credit card standpoint, to be honest with you, American Express, and I'm by no means ever get paid for American Express, but that was our first card that we utilized, and I know a lot of my personal entrepreneurial friends have gotten that. They got their business credit, their company to be able to get some line of credit might be $1,200, but just apply for it every year. But most of the time it's going to be built on personal.
It's
credit.
important that I answer that question from the perspective of the other 98.5%, okay? Which is this. You're not going to have credit. You're definitely not going to have an American Express, and you're definitely not going to have the access to certain things, probably not even a bank account. And guess what? Our people usually don't take food stamps, although some people do. But, so here's the deal. Here's what you do. Your credit begins with this. Don't burn a bridge. Your network is your net worth. This is how you create credit amongst your friends, and you start building a product that people can believe in, all right? And something that people can say, well, you know what? I can't afford this part of it, but I know so-and-so who knows so-and-so, and they got the studio or the boat or the whatever I need for my video or whatever it is that credit is what you need to think about, because until you build a brand or something that is innovative and creative enough that someone else can see and be like, you know what? Here, start with 25,000. Yeah, it'll happen, but you have to build that credibility first on your own by building the brand. Brand credibility, brand equity, which of course was mentioned yesterday, that has to be built first because again, most people that I know anyway don't have the ability to create credit or have a credit card, this and this and that. And that's the reality of most artists.
Right, and also again, I have to say it again, the corporate structuring side of things, because the music industry, the entertainment industry, it can be very fun, but it's a business. You guys are businesses, you know. This is having it structured properly and appropriately is gonna lead you to the right people, you know.
Yeah. Hey, any other questions?
How you doing? I'm Jordan Turner.
Good.
I have an idea, and I want to know if it's possible to protect that idea until I'm ready to use it.
Okay, so you can't actually protect an idea. You have to protect the tangible form of an idea. Okay, so that's probably what you mean, but just to clarify, not to be a nitpicky ass lawyer, but what you can do is for patent, actually, if it's an invention or something, you actually want to protect it early because the patent process takes 3 to 5 years. After a year of being released, you lose the patentability.
Give an example of how to create from just an idea that, oh my God, I just came up with this idea. How do I go about right now?
So if you also,
Tangible
you can
idea.
even copyright a business plan. You can copyright a film treatment or something like that. It doesn't have to be fully built out. In the trademark space, you can protect a trademark early and then under an intent to use capacity.
Right.
And then once it gets registered, you can file extensions until you're actually using that in commerce until you convert it to end use status. So there are ways to protect yourself early. It just really depends on what we're talking about specifically.
And something as simple as like once you have some kind of a tangible thing in your hand, let's say you 3D printed, you know, the idea or the concept. By the way, you can do that. If you have some kind of idea, you can 3D print something. Well, it's as simple as putting it on a website, you know, because you applied for the trademark and all of that, and being able to say, well, this is the use where it's going to be, and you can apply those links, even though they're not live for everybody else, but they're live for that
I mean, there's
purpose.
going to always be some protectable aspect of it, so you just start with that.
Anybody else? Pass the mic up. Come on, guys. This costs a lot of money usually.
You guys are asleep. We put you to sleep.
Oh, there you go.
Excuse me.
Got one up there.
Here, which means you're going to listen to everything I have. Okay?
Check, check. My name's John Pashada. Question for both of you. What are you seeing that's interesting and exciting on the horizon coming up?
You want to start?
I would say the most interesting trend that I'm seeing is most artists, entertainers, influencers are really trying too hard to monetize their brand in a lot of ways, so it's always ultra selling. I'm seeing probably a more exciting time of probably interesting types of content that's going to get distributed and coming out there, and people are going to be really, really trying to amplify what they're doing there quickly.
I think with true collaboration and joint ventures these days, if you have your brand protected, you walk into deals with a lot more leverage and you can negotiate better deal terms that force the labels to work, that forces the other side to work, and it's not just you signing to somebody, it's you guys signing together.
The most exciting thing that is happening right now, trend, is this. Mecon, baby, let's go. All right, thank you guys.
All right.
Give him a hand.
Cool. So next, I'm so excited we get to have, speaking of business development, finance.
All right.
Everybody knows by now, right? You see me running around here all day long. And if I haven't had a chance to say hi to you, please kind of come up, and I definitely want to meet everybody here. So this next group is going to be a lot of fun because it's something that we're talking about all the time, which is, all the different ways to kind of bring in financial resources and other resources to
You
get
guys
your
wanna know
brand
how to
out
get
there,
money?
right? Who wants to make some money
Who
in
wants
here?
to get some money into their
Who wants
brand?
some money? Yeah.
Creating that opportunity for yourself, for your brand, to bring in some money. Even when you're a young brand, you can do that.
And there's equity crowdfunding. There's so many different platforms. There's cryptocurrency. There's just so many different things that are happening now, right? Pledge Music, all of that. So we've got some really, really cool pros in different angles of the business. We're going to invite them up right now. John Leonardo. Yes. President Filson. And Sam Salisbury. So I'm going to let them do their own little introduction here. You can hear a bit about their companies, what they've been working on, and why we invited them to be a part of this today.
Hey, put the mics up a little
Can you
bit
guys
higher.
put up a little higher?
Yeah, there you go.
Can y'all hear me?
Got it?
I can't hear y'all. Can y'all hear me?
Thanks for doing that, man. Getting all hyped up. That's good.
Every day.
Yeah.
How we doing here?
Who's Mike?
Too loud, President.
Too loud.
To cool it down a little bit.
I get that a lot.
What's up, guys?
Put it down here.
Yeah.
Hold up. I can't even see
We'll have
it.
some fun up here.
Oh, I got it.
Somebody help.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to the people.
Where do we want to start?
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. These guys are savages in what they do. So
I like
I'm
that.
going to start all the way. Actually, I'll start here with my main man, Press, and have him tell you a little bit about himself and just describe what you do, who you are, just in a concise 60-second pitch.
Certainly.
This is your 60-second elevator pitch. No pressure.
Nice to meet all you guys, man. Appreciate everybody being here. My name is President, co-founder of founder of M&P Guided Entertainment. Blessed to be a partner in this event right here. What I do is I take capital and I magnify and amplify it. So what I mean by capital, sometimes you got money, sometimes you don't have money, but what we always have is that energy. There's a lot of artists in the room, a lot of melanin, a lot of great people that got that swag. And what I help do is quantify that swag, that energy. And my whole plan and my whole vision and what I'm here to do is democratize access to the elite, right? So there was once upon a time, Harvard would have never had this many people of this much swag with this much energy and this much vibrance here. But the point of my life is to open up doors, whether it be to the Ivy League, whether it be to Wall Street, Hollywood, real estate, Silicon Valley, Washington, bust that door open so we all have a chance for sustainability and to create an ecosystem that enables and empowers all of us.
And by the way, he is a graduate of
Harvard University,
There you go.
class of 2008.
Nice. Oh, you got all the, you really graduated? You did everything?
Yeah,
Oh,
nah,
nice.
yeah, man.
Do you
Class of
teach
2008.
swag? Can you like?
You know what? That's
I don't think
the
I have
album.
enough swag.
That's the
It's
album.
an elective. It's an elective.
Swag, that's Millions in My 20s, the album, man. I'm putting it out there for y'all so y'all can grow and y'all can take what we learned at Harvard, what we learned on Wall Street, and what we PhD in the streets and give to everybody so we all could be billionaires.
Yeah.
I like
and
it.
by the way, just FYI, in case you need it, he does have his Series 7.
Yes,
you know what that
yes,
is.
sir.
All right.
Wow, Superman
John.
over here. Not as good as Prez over here. I'm a firefighter, creative.
Tell us your full name first so they can
Just
follow
John.
you.
Just nobody has John. No H. No, I'm John Leonardo. I'm the founder of TANS Group. We produce music festivals, concerts, book out clubs. We just acquired an agency to expand that side of the business as well. And so I'll be able to talk a little bit on this funding from that side. We've done some pretty creative things to fund our festivals and grow our company. So I'm excited to dive into that.
Teach you how to get it.
Yeah.
Money.
Creatively too.
There you go. Sam, that's my
I'm
main
Sam
man, Sam.
Salisbury, stoked to be here.
Say it again, Sam.
I'm Sam Salisbury, stoked to be here. It's been fun being here yesterday and kind of dipping through and seeing the type of people are in the audience. And I've never been to a music tech conference like this, but it's exciting because it's a testament to the folks that have been putting it on and creating this, but also for you guys. And it's a wide variety of people, so I'm excited to that. So hopefully what I say today can speak to you guys and give some value. My world, I've been an entrepreneur in music, technology, and impact are the main worlds that I focus on, and it's everything from, I used to produce big concerts and events, running music marketing for a major headphone company and going on some of the biggest tours in the world, to creating a tech company that became...
Wait, like some. Please name a few, because that's... he's so humble, I promise.
So yeah, I took Skull Candy I ran music marketing at Skull Candy Headphones, and took them on Warped Tour for the first time, and then ended up doing a headphone deal with All American Rejects, going on that North American tour. And then I ended up doing Rock Nation Jay-Z headphone and going on that national tour, Blueprint 3 tour in 2009, 2010. So learned a lot from being a club promoter, not a club promoter, I produced and promoted concerts in Utah. So did everything from the Fray concert, doubling their biggest show ever, to One Republic, doubling their biggest show ever at the time, to getting MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice back together after years. It was kind of a bucket list of mine. So
Legend.
it was just I did what I wanted, and it was fun, and I just had to find creative ways to do it. So obviously financing came along the way. With every endeavor I wanted to do, that you needed financing in some capacity to actually make that happen. So I learned a few things along the way, and then I ended up being a founding member of Bandpage, which ended up being the largest music app on Facebook.
Bandpage, people.
Fourth largest app on Facebook, 32 million monthly active users, and ended up running artist relations for them. We raised a total of $37.5 million VC through that process. So there's a few things on that end, and then just above and beyond, there's a lot that I love to do. I love to be involved in cool things and the event side and supporting artists and entrepreneurs. So
And
happy to
he's
help.
an incredible advisor. Just so you know, we spend a lot of time on the phone. Probably at least once or twice a week. We're on it and working on some amazing projects that you guys will know more about eventually. Man, so let's talk a little bit about that. That moment when you're ready, when you're on the cusp, and you have a great product, and then you're ready to go, and you got teams, and everybody's ready, and everybody's like, let's go. And
Did
then
you guys wait till you're ready?
you realize your bank
I
account
think we just
doesn't
kinda did
necessarily.
Born ready, right?
You're
Yeah.
never like fully ready. You just
Right.
gotta go out there and start
Yeah, you
doing
got to
it.
do it, but then you realize like your bank account ain't ready.
I praise God for the moments when the bank account hit that situation, because you find out who everybody is around you, right? Which is necessary, right? Because you're only as strong as your weakest link, and no one does it alone. So, I've learned, I think Damon John talks about this, right? Like the blessing of being broke.
Power of broke.
Power of broke, right? I think broke is a state of mind. And when you really realize that a miracle is a change in the way you see things, then you can rewire the architecture of life to see every obstacle as an opportunity and see the value in each and every breath and person around you. So
See that?
I praise God for the struggle. It made me who I am, and it just makes this next chapter of my life of abundance and prosperity even that more meaningful and rewarding.
Wow.
Yeah, I like that. I don't like being broke. So, no, I hear what you're saying though. I like that, and when we talking about like being ready, we were talking a little earlier saying smart money is the best money that you can have, right? And so there's been times where we've been approached with people with dumb money, as some people call it.
Right.
And it's having the ability to be able to turn some things like that down and know what's best for your company, know what's best for how you guys want to take your vision. And like think about it, when you get money from somebody, you're married to them now, right? Like we have some investors that are on board. So TANS as a whole, when we started the company, we raised a couple $1 million to get going, but we were really selective about them and their involvement and how involved they wanted to be, how involved we wanted them to be. And so we really had a nice little match there, but we certainly were not ready. We were big-eyed and dreaming, and once we got that money, we said, all right, cool, now we figure it out. Let's go. This is it. And that's kind of how we started there.
You want to talk a little bit more about what smart and dumb money is?
Yeah, smart money. I'll use an example. So we just did a deal with, you guys know Eventbrite, ticketing platform?
Of course.
Smart money for us was they're looking to get into music festivals. We were one of the first groups that they approached, and they gave us a pretty nice 7-figure deal to sign with them. A lot of it was a bonus, just saying, hey, use us opposed to anyone else, so we're with them for the next few years here. And that money was smart because Eventbrite, the way that we negotiated was that they did a lot of marketing dollars were involved in that, not just the cash side of it. So they were going to, whenever we do our festivals, we're up on their home pages. They're putting money behind us, their email blasts, things like that. And then that allowed us to put enough money down to get our festival booked for that year. But there's no money out of our pocket. We didn't give up any equity. They just gave us a bunch of money to use Eventbrite. And that was smart money. That was like a really great deal.
Yeah, and I want to throw something in there about that. And sometimes, again, we find ourselves caught up in the whole, well, if there's no cash, then I'm not working with or for them, right? And when you got to think about, well, what is their network like? What is, what other things can they bring in? And how can I serve them? How can we create equal equity here?
If you want it. Like one of our first investors too, though, we were at a spot where we kind of knew what we had to do, and we just had to go out and execute it. And so when we were talking to him, we said, listen, this is what we have to do. Here's how we're going to go do it. This is the amount of money we need to get there. And he kind of said, here's your money. Go forth and conquer. And that's like, sometimes you don't want people checking in. Well, why aren't you doing this? It's like, listen, man, I'm in this every day.
That's
like,
dumb money.
What's that?
That's that dumb money.
Sometimes, like, it just depends, right?
No, meaning what you did is smart money, but what I'm saying, the dumb money is when people just take the money, just take it because they got to get this done.
Right.
When it's the wrong partner.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you learn the lesson later on.
Yeah, I can definitely speak to that because the first part of this journey was the hardcore investment banking, right? Working at the big banks, from the Morgan Stanley, Credit Suisse, the Merrill Lynch's. And I grew up in that culture, so to speak, from the time I was 16, 17. So in a way, it's all I've known. So, I'm thinking we go to the banks, my bosses, they give me a check, something light, seed money, a couple $100 bands, you start moving. But I didn't really realize that when you plug into that Silicon Valley, Wall Street money, you're only going to be valued when you're pressing, $30, $100 million buttons. And so I mean to say they're not really incentivized to help you until you hit a certain level. But by the time you get to that level anyway, I mean, you pretty much built your platform with your team, and you don't necessarily need them. So I say that to say that I think there's an illusion that the big gatekeepers put on you to make you think that you need to participate in the game that they need you to participate in it, but you end up building all your love with your family in the streets anyway. So, I'm a fervent believer of making the big money players come to you and not making the mistake that I made when I first came, trying to play the Wall Street game when it doesn't necessarily fit in the music sense. And I learned there's no wrong answers, right? Because everyone's kind of making it up as they go along, but they're just making you think that there's a system and there's a way that you have to do it when it's not really true. So
in other words, create leverage. Let them come to you. You create your own leverage, it'll happen.
At the same time, though, if you need more, go look for it too.
Right, of course.
You got to create value, and they'll come to you. It's always this weird thing, like once you get that first one in, then everyone wants to come in and do it. But I still think you got to go out there and find it and look for the right people for sure.
Yeah, Sam, what is your approach? How do you, when you have a great, whether it's a concert or an event or a project or a tech project, because you're into a lot of tech projects, how do you go out there and find money? What's your approach? What's your pitch? How do you get it done? Because that's something that people need to learn also, how to put that together.
Yeah, and kind of what's been said here, there's a million ways to do it. There's not one set way, and I think the more projects I've done successfully, the more easier it is because it's a trusted. When people work with me, typically there's extra value that's already been vetted. But so many times, actually, even this year, I'm doing new things that I've never done before, and I need to almost potentially start over. So, at whatever level that is, people in the room here, are raising for a tech company or raising for their music project, or there's a lady yesterday that was doing the mobile recording studios in New York. And these are all projects, and whether you've done it before, you got to start somewhere. So, everything from when I was doing my first big concert, sure, I needed to figure out a way to do that. I sold a house that I had and made some money, but before that, I didn't. I got to figure out how to pack the room because all my money, my life savings, everything is on this. So, we were talking about not even smart money, but maybe like cultural capital or value, other value than monetarily. Yeah. I had to go around and I partnered up with Skull Candy and said, hey, you can't give me money, but give me 500 headphones. Hey, Costa Vida, Mexican restaurants, there's 10 locations around the area, promote posters in the doors and cards on the register, and give me 500 meal cards valued at $8, $9 a pop. Spoon Me yogurt companies, there was 8 locations, same kind of thing. I valued them and I used them for their promotion capabilities through the brick and mortar, but also their value of product. For them, it didn't really cost much. They're getting people in their door. They're stoked to get more people through their door. They're giving a free meal up, but it's their cost on that's $2, $1 maybe. So I used that to then really help build bigger value for me to actually then get more people through the door to actually pay money for the concert, and it ended up working out.
I'm going to give a small example on the music tip. So back in the early 2000s, when I was first like rolling in the music biz, you know, again, I was a local, I knew everybody, I was broke, but guess what I had? A lot of equity where? In the clubs. Because all the boys I went to high school with, now they were the doorman, they were security guards, they were running the bars, they were doing this and this and that. So I'd go to the clubs and be like, hey, what's up? Listen, I'm going to give out flyers for you. This is what I need, all right? Who's your top promoter today? Oh, okay, cool. So how about this? I'm going to bring you guys X amount of people, right? So you guys hook me up with a table. There's certain VIPs that I'm going to go out there and find. I didn't even know who I was going to find, but I know that I'd find some VIPs, and I'd get them a free table, right? So now you're talking about $2,000 or $3,000 worth of, you know, equity for that night for each VIP or whatever. And I'd go out there and just find opportunities. So, and then by the time everybody was there, right, all these folks that I would bring in for free, but they were not. They were getting in for free. I was walking them in, not waiting in line. If you've been to Miami, you know what it's like to be there.
Yeah.
Not knowing the people at the door, you're going to be there forever. So I would walk them right in. They'd all be inside. Then I'd go outside and be like, hey, now check it out. I have a camera. You mind if I take pictures? It's for you. Hey, I'm going to take pictures in the club. You got cards? Okay, I'll give them the card. They can go to the website and check out their own face, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so I started doing that. I was building, at the time, I didn't know any other terminology back then. It was just all like, boom, boom, boom. I got to find a way to provide service, to give value so that they would want to work with me, right? And the point is that eventually over the years, that turned into a lot of, you know, brand equity for myself because they believed in me being able to bring the people there. So
yeah, I feel you, Jalen.
there's ways.
What you're talking about is recognizing the fundamental humanity in people, right? And I think it's very easy, especially in this industry, to get lost in where you're seeing people as commodities and you're overlooking the small people or the little people, but you're not realizing, I don't necessarily know you, but you might have everything I need, you know, and, or you. So you know, just being able to recognize that everybody has value and knowing your own value, and when that humanity is established and you see the playing field and respecting people, then being able to build. So I see building M&P as building a family, right? And music, you can't do it alone. You need a family. You need people that you trust. You need people that are going to be there on your worst day when the world's against you, and on your best day when no one's being real and everybody's acting like they like you. So for me, from a financial and just a comfort level, I leverage my M&P family as investors because people want to be a part of something that's bigger than them, and everybody wants to make money, or you need to make money in order to live. So my motto has been friends, family, bosses, investors, cut the check, join the family, let's build a $100 million empire. When we build $100 million, we scale to $1 billion, and let's rock.
It's that easy.
I think we'll go back in a second to something Sam said. I don't want to take that lightly of bartering and that, but kind of what you're talking about with the human capital and using them. I know it's not as sexy right now as it was when it first came out, but crowdfunding is a great way to
Yes,
get
that's
it
a great
going.
segue, by the way.
Like use your network to help fund it. We did an album that we used Kickstarter for, and we used Kickstarter for a number of reasons. Like, if you guys so a lot of people actually go on Kickstarter just to find things, you know. So you get a lot of good traction from that. And then another, there's so many weird things. Like 95% of things that are launched on Kickstarter on a Monday, or if you launch on a Monday on Kickstarter, you have 95% chance of hitting your goal than any other day. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why it is, but that's just what it is. We did $255,000 in 30 days, which was pretty exciting. We broke, we broke 4 records when we did it. So most amount of $10,000 backers, fastest $100,000 was raised. Most money ever for a music thing. I think these are all been broken by now. Yeah, it was cool. It was fun. And it's cool too. You have the email thing on, so all day long it's like ding, 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 ding. I'm like, ooh, this is nice. But then at night, people in China are awake and they're backing, so all night long it's going. But I just think that's so important, tapping into your network, and it's a really cool, unique way to do it. We would do things like once we hit, if we hit, our goal was only 150. Once we hit that, we said, hey, if we get to 200, we're going to do this. And then if we get to 200, we'll go to 250, we're going to do this. And so we're able to keep it going. And now you have all these people that are invested in that, right? So when we did a show, it was a full symphony orchestra and a DJ collaboration we did. And we did a live show down in Miami, and we sold it out. It was during Ultra, and we sold it out because now all these people are invested in it, and when they see that, they go, oh, hey, I'm one of the backers for this. And so it kind of builds a
That's so
community
cool.
around your product, whatever you're doing. So that's on that. And then, one of the things with the bartering, I know this is on financing, but like there's so much value that companies, like if you're an artist, for example, and you want recording studio time, whatever it is, figure out ways, if you don't have the money to do it, to, say, hey, I don't have any money to pay you, but if I do X, Y, and Z, will you give me 2 hours in your
There you
studio?
go.
Whatever it is, like.
I bring my boy who does videos.
Right.
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
Just use your brain a little bit, and you can get
Right.
costs super, super low. Like my previous company before this, we ran conferences all over the U.S. And American Airlines was one of our big sponsors, and they didn't give me 1 penny, but they gave us about 6 figures every single year flights. So I never had to pay for a flight for myself, or for
Yeah.
the speakers, or for anything. So I mean, that's as good as money to us.
Yeah.
So,
And
That's pretty funny.
well, one of the cool things is too, going on with that is hey, utilize the folks. Hey, look, you can't do this for me, but you have a big, you have X amount of followers. If you send X amount of emails or flyers or whatever for me, I'll do this for you, and the other way around. So there's ways to really barter and create a proper situation. But if you want to get a little bit of cash, how do we do
Yeah.
that? Obviously crowdfunding is one. What other ways how do we prepare that package that people want to see? And let's start with investors invest in people.
Right.
always.
Product second.
So traditional financing, I mean, there's definitely tricks of the trade and knowing what to do, but we were talking earlier, like everybody wants to give money because they want to make money. There's investment groups out there. I mean, it seems like there's so much money laying around, from angels to VCs to all these different types of people that maybe made a few million in Bitcoin or something like that. They wanted to put money into something else, and there's money out there. But I think the biggest thing is they want to invest in someone that's going to go to the end on it. And a lot of people come up with a business concept, they go through it, and they have to pivot because something in the market happened, and then their business is not relevant. So if you invested into something that you had a business plan for and see that's not going to be the best market, you can switch and modify. And I think at the end of the day, investors want to invest in people that will not sleep if they don't, to get a job done.
Yeah.
That are so passionate and invested into it. So I think showing you're passionate about your project, whether it be music, whether it be a tech company, whether it be a concert, whether it be any project you're working on, I think you need to sell emotionally and show and prove that you're invested full time.
Right.
And
Hey.
you're building it.
I'm an investor, and I'm saying to you, hey, guess what? I'm going to buy you the shoes, I'm going to give you the shirt, I'm going to give you some water. But are you going to run a sprint or are you going to run a marathon? That's what I want to know. Are you going to get to the finish line for me? And if you fall and you break your foot, are you going to still go?
Right.
And if you are, then I'll give you my money.
I think one of the things that I just want to encourage everybody to is not necessarily get lost in chasing money to where you devalue what you're creating, right? Because anyone can get money or give money, but what I've learned by virtue of working with some of the most elite investors in the world is that terms matter just as equally as much as what you're getting, because what you don't want to do is get in bed with the wrong people financially, nor do you want to short yourself or put yourself in a position to where you have a completely unsustainable financing model, right? So Jalen mentioned that I took the Series 7, and I know in the hip-hop space it's relatively rare, probably the first artist to have that license and be working in the securities business and creating a fund to invest in the community and empower artists to be able to find capital sustainably in ways that sets them up to grow, as opposed to the traditional, let's face it, exploitation that occurs because not everybody's necessarily altruistic. So if you guys want to reach out to me specifically, we can discuss Impact Global and what we're doing to help open up these doors and help our people and great people just connect with the institutional resources in a way that's sustainable, not just the traditional exploitation that unfortunately many of us run into.
You
The
want
other
to
thing
talk
too
about how
is-
to get it?
Well, I mean, the other thing too is like your idea isn't that great. Like at the end of the day, like they see a lot of these investors see so many different ideas pitched to them. Like you got to go in there, you got to put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah.
I know you think you have the coolest new thing. It's the the Uber for whatever whatever you have you. But it's not that great, right? Ideas are shit. It's all about execution. And so kind of going off of what they were both saying is like make sure that you go in there. The investors are going to want to invest in you.
Right.
And think about like why would they want to give you money? A lot of people just go in there and go, oh, I got this cool product and we're going to do this, and you're like, I'm going to make so much money for you, man. And they're like, well, and you didn't even think about from their side.
It's
Like
not the-
you
it's
got
not
to make
about
a
the money.
connection with them. You got to think about why they want to do it. And it's not just, yes, it is money, but you can't just point to a hockey stick and go, oh, this is how we're going to grow. So,
All right. Well, I'm going to leave you guys with this before I say goodbye to you guys. Research right now what equity crowdfunding is. It is the next platform for you artists to explore. Okay? Equity crowdfunding, that's your homework. And let's give them a hand.
Q&A?
Huh?
Go ahead, a couple minutes for Q&A, or we're moving?
Oh, yeah, we got
gotta move.
Let's do one or two questions.
do we have
Anybody got any questions?
Oh, no, we don't have time
No, we
for a
don't.
question. but-
Feel free to
All
reach
right.
out to me if you want to.
Yeah, but hey,
Just connect with us.
bottom line, everything is online as far as this panel. Number one, and two,
JON@tansgroup.com. Email
all
me.
of that information
Right.
is going to be available
Oh,
for you
cool,
guys.
cool.
Yeah.
Also,
President
really quick,
Therese.
we are going to break for 5 minutes, and we're going to have another panel
Yeah, I
in
appreciate
here
what you
and in Hall D. So whatever, you guys can totally meet Sam, John, and President outside, out there in Hall D, and make your connections. And then let's get it. We have a 5-minute break. We get started at 11:30 in Hall D and Hall C. So take a look at your programs. You all received it via email. Thank you guys so much. This
Thank
was
you.
awesome.
Yeah. We're
Thank
doing,
you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
In Hall D, we will have
fun.
John
fun.
Pichota and Wade Sutton
You guys are really
discussing
smart, man.
hacking
I'm gonna just stand
music.
next to you.
And in Hall C here, we will have a festival, a panel on festivals.
Quickly, I just wanted to give you guys some details so you know if you did see the program, great. If you didn't, Hacking Music is a book that was written by Wade Sutton and John Pichota, who is a professor of music at Belmont University, also the CEO and partner of Jetpack Ventures. He does all sorts of business development, artist development, and Wade Sutton has a company, Rocket to the Stars, do content creation, branding, all of that for artists. So they're launching their new book right here at Harvard. Everyone is going to be getting a copy of that, whether you're in that session or not, you're going to get a digital download of that. So really exciting. And then in this workshop here is going to be everything international that you want to know, from Jalen James Acosta, Mauro Catalini, who flew in from Italy. He's doing tours, productions, all of that, all across Europe, working with 1,500 of the most premier DJs, and then also Tomas Uribe, the CEO of Sensu Music, and Lonzo, I'm drawing a blank on your last name, Luconi, who is the founder of the Costa Rica Piano Festival. So enjoy. We'll be bouncing back and forth and have a lot of fun.
Brenton, unmute all the loves, please.
Ya.
Hey.
Ora sì? Ora sì?
1, 2.
1,
Sì.
2,
Vai, vai.
1, 2,
1, 2, 3.
3.
All right. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, live people on the live stream? Blah blah blah. You're good. I love you. You know what's up. Anyway, real quick, I'm going to start bringing a very special panel because these guys are what you call international, global folks. And I'm excited to bring this panel in particularly because they have affected my life and my career in one way, shape, or the other. So first, I'm going to start with Mr. Tomás Uribe, CEO of Stereotech, who is half CEO of Stereotech, half kangaroo, of course. As you can see him hopping on one leg. He'll tell us that story later. And of course, we got Lanzo Luconi, who is the guy that runs, the man. I want to call you the mayor of Costa Rica, but the truth is that he runs the Costa Rica International Piano Festival. When people from all around the world go to this festival to show off their skills, right? And on top of that, he's also my partner on a new venture that we're doing out there. You're going to tell them about that?
Absolutely, absolutely. We got great things planned for.
We'll surprise them in a
Costa
minute.
Rica.
We'll surprise them in a minute. And last but definitely not least, this man right here, well, Mauro Catalini is a very special human being. He was the first person to take a chance on me back in the days. And actually, right after the story, I'll tell you about my other boy who's here. You guys meet later, Irie. So this man right here, Mauro Catalini, global promoter. He's been doing amazing things in Europe. And he's an international DJ, has one of the largest international DJ groups in the planet, Latinos Unidos record pool. All right, so he's somebody that you want to know. And he was the first person to take a chance on me by taking me to Europe. And ¿cuántas giras? 6, no?
6.
6
Toda
World
Europa,
tours
sí.
with him. So he was definitely the person that put me on. And yeah, so this is a panel of international folks that we wanted to touch on a few different things. He speaks Italian, so he's going to be speaking Italian and Spanish.
Spanish, sí.
Okay, so that
The mix.
we'll translate it later for you guys, and then the rest of the guys can definitely speak English. So
Can do
that's
Spanglish as well if you want. You guys want.
so you guys help me out here with the
Yeah,
Italian
yeah,
and Spanish.
totally.
All right, so first of all, thank you guys for being here. You know, this is quite a treat. So one of the things that, and if you can translate a little bit, and one of the things that is really important, you know, we've been going through all the different levels. Every artist is at a different level, you know. So one of the things that you want to think about once you are a brand, once you got your social media already popping, things are moving, once you know people like Irie, you know, and you got things flowing, one of the things you really want to think about is, well, how do I get myself noticed by international promoters? How do I get my brand out there so that people can actually, so I can have a shot, you know, to go on tour, to get myself maybe as an undercard to open for the Chris Browns of the world or the Luis Fonsis of the world in our case, right? How do I do that? So to answer that and many other questions when it comes to that, you know, I have these guys here. So a little bit about you guys first.
Yeah, so I can start. To get this out of the way, I fractured my tibia 2 weeks ago, so don't go skiing today before you go to South by Southwest. That was a very bad mistake that I did. But anyway, so again, thank you guys. And super, you know, the weekend has been really exciting. I'm a musician myself. I'm from Colombia originally. I studied composition and bass, you know, several years ago. I had a band. I did a tour as well. I played in festivals in Colombia, here in the U.S. And then I decided to make a move here to New York to study at first, to study technology and then mix it up with media and design and music, of course. So every project that I've been doing and all the entrepreneurial things that I've done in the past have been around mixing music with design and with technology. And my company, Stereotech, is basically a platform where we help emerging musicians and music students find sustainable career paths. And by that we mean it's kind of like a LinkedIn for musicians, where music is kind of like the basic denominator by which you create connections. So don't think about it yeah, like in LinkedIn that you put how many years you have of experience, but rather how your projects speak for yourself and for the experience that you have. So we try to pull in information, opportunities for festivals around the world, promoters, bookers. If you are a stage manager or a roadie or a front of house engineer, we also try to show you opportunities that will be sustainable for you to have some roadmap for the future. So,
really, think about it. LinkedIn for music, for you guys. That's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys want to do the bio first.
All right. Well, my name is Lanzo Loconi. I'm a pianist, educator, and apparently now I'm also a music entrepreneur. And it's funny because less than a month ago, I had no idea that I was going to be here until I got in touch with Jalen. And all these wonderful things can happen, and your life can change in an instant just by an opportunity that you take. And so what I do, I'm an educator, and I began this project as a passion project. I run the Costa Rica International Piano Festival. And my mission with this is to connect basically the people that are just getting started with the people that are up here, and how we can bring people up. And that's what I've been doing now for the last 5 years in Costa Rica, giving opportunity to young pianists from all over the world to basically connect with the people that can build their careers or do it themselves. So you need those people in your life. That's what we're doing here, and that's why I provide to young pianists all over the world.
And before you move on from that, so the Costa Rica International Piano Festival, look it up. It's massive, it's awesome, and this is the guy behind it, so that's pretty awesome. But number two, tell them about what we're doing, our boot camp of sorts.
Right.
In July.
So, the more I got into this, the more I started developing projects. I thought, why aren't more people doing this? The world needs this, and it goes back to what Tiger was saying yesterday. You cannot die rich. You gotta die empty. And what we want is to provide this platform, or just sharing ideas and learning, the education.
Wow.
And you gotta learn how to learn, and you gotta connect with the people that have the knowledge that will get you to where you want to be. And that's the whole idea behind it. And I saw what Jalen was doing, and I thought it was amazing. And the first thing I did was I texted him on IG.
IG works.
It works. Like literally, one day I think a Friday, I texted him. On Sunday, we were on FaceTime.
Yeah.
Him and Rachel. Amazing. And now I'm here.
Yeah.
And then he's going to be in Costa Rica.
You skipped the part where you said that on Monday. You said that, by the way, not only are we going to do this amazing music seminar, aka boot camp in Costa Rica. You don't have to touch my arm for that. But there's also, the 5 days of excursions that you guys are also going to...
Right, so this is a 10-day event. This is 10 days. This is a full immersion in, the experience is complete. We touch on every single aspect of humanity, from connecting to nature to crunching down numbers. And just you start and end there, and you're a different person from beginning to end.
That's beautiful. And Mauro,
Ok, intanto ciao a tutti, grazie di questa giornata. Parlo in italiano, sei pronto a tradurre? Allora, prima di tutto, salutiamo anche gli amici che ci seguono in streaming. No?
Say what's up to the people that are streaming right now.
E poi vi voglio invitare a tutti a casa mia in Italia. This is important.
So he's inviting all of you guys to his crib, pretty much.
Quindi siete benvenuti. Allora, niente, io sono un emigrato perché sono nato in Argentina, I born in Argentina, e quando avevo 11 anni, 11 años, 11, I go in Italy, I live.
Yeah, so when he was 11 years old, he ended up in Italy.
Con mio padre. Ahí empecé poco a poco a trabajar con humildad, un paso atrás del otro, para llegar a tener una empresa completa. Soy un DJ producer, tengo mi propio label, mi publishing, soy autor, organizo tour y eventos principalmente en Italia, pero también en otras partes de Europa.
Okay,
Sorry, me había olvidado.
So basically, he began humbly, just starting step after step, just putting one step at a time, and started building up, from, being a DJ, eventually becoming a promoter, and then creating opportunities for himself to build this company, that eventually opened up with many different branches, and that now he's able to do not just stuff in Italy, but also stuff in all of Europe, and really even past Europe. He's being a little humble now, but
Sí, organizo también festivales de música latina sobre todo. Son 25 años que me dedico solamente al mercado latino sobre todo, ¿no?
Yeah, he's mainly in the Latin world.
Y tengo gestiono una discoteca principalmente.
He runs one of the largest discotheques,
Sí,
by the
que
way.
está
Altro
bien,
Mondo.
el Altro Mondo Studios, sí, que es the Big Club. Y el sábado es nuestra noche principal. Tengo otros socios y como 20 personas, bailarines y staff de show, ¿no?
Okay, so he basically runs one of the biggest clubs out there. It's called Altro Mondo, which we're gonna take you there. Altro Mondo in Rimini.
Sí.
And he helps run it with his partners. And basically on Saturdays that's his biggest night, and they've got like a show with like 20 dancers, and it's like a big old day.
Y esa es la noche principal que gestionamos nosotros mismos. Después, durante la semana, trabajamos en participación en algunos clubes o si no, a calle. Me pagan y trabajo. Hago 8 servicios por semana, casi todo el año. O sea que trabajo...
He does 8 services a week, which means he's spinning 8 times or doing 8 productions per week. There's only 7 days a week. Think about it. So he's doing all that, all year round, 365.
Sí. No sé, ¿siguen ellos? Pues si no, yo puedo hablar 5 horas, no tengo problema. Después les cuento una historia importante que pasó con Zumba, sigan, listo.
Okay, so what are some of the steps that I'm going to start there at the end, as far as, connecting to an international audience? How does that happen for you? And how can artists or young entrepreneurs, people that are putting this together, their brand together, how can they do that? What kind of tools can they utilize aside from Stereotech, right?
Yeah. Well, for me, especially when you're just getting started, you gotta face it, you're nobody at the beginning. But you gotta use whatever you have to create some sort of collaborations with the big artists that are up there, and they're the ones that are gonna leverage your event. And that's precisely what I did. I got in touch with one of the best pianists and professors in the world, and I started getting some support because I really pitched my idea really well, and I wanted to do things differently than the rest of the piano festivals around. I got them on board right away, and things just took off. I mean, it took a while. It took me 3 years to launch this, but I kept at it, and you got to keep going until you find the support, and it just lifted off like that. But reaching out to the people at the top.
Tomas?
I'm curious to know also, like, from you guys, how many of you are performers and kind of like singer-songwriters? Okay. Because, for example, when I was starting out, I had a lot of, let's say, pushback from my family. Again, I'm from Colombia, and we are very conservative cultures down in Latin America. So I had a lot of trouble kind of like pushing back as to say, don't worry about it. I'm going to, do music, and somewhere down the line, I'm going to make it, right? And it's always a challenge, kind of like how do you argument that you have what it takes to make it out. So that's why today I think that kind of like, thought process behind, parents and kind of like supporting systems around yourself, it continues to be there. Like the doubt continues to be there. So that's why we wanted to say, all right, what happens if we create a platform where people can have the same idea of, I know what I'm going to make, I know what steps to take, I know who to connect with if I want to play at a specific festival or at a concert, or if I have the skills to be a session musician, what do I have to do? So part of my experience has always been like through building the company and being an international, I'm still on a work visa, so that's also, it's always a process to
that's
get
a whole
around.
other panel.
Yeah, that's an entire
yeah, immigration.
And lawyers and the guys that were here, like learning everything, from the ground up. But For example, we just wrote a book called How to Land a Job in the Music Industry, and for me it was very humbling because I got to interview a lot of people who are making it out there, a lot of the people who you saw yesterday as well that have built tech companies, that have built music businesses, and their stories, it's always about how to learn from the process. It's not only about the beginning or the end or how successful you are, but actually learning, the really difficult obstacles and challenges that you have in the process. And those are the things that are interesting to me, like learning from those experiences and being able to, share it out. So, I'm like, we were talking about right now with Mauro, estamos hablando de tu historia y how, how interesting it is, learn about everything that person had to do. Like, your story is also amazing. And like, you can take, you can create chapters for an entire book out of every single, month of your life. So I think those are the things that we need to surface out and really use it to, learn how to make it a sustainable industry.
¿Cómo una persona llega a ser, o sea, a una persona como tú? ¿Cómo ellos llegan a ti? O sea, ¿cómo se hacen internacional de parte de tu conexión?
Bueno,
¿Qué tú buscas?
muchas veces...
Yes. So the question was like, how do you get to this guy, to be this guy? So. Yeah.
Ahora, principalmente, bueno, ahora al principio era yo que buscaba lo que me interesaba, lo que el mercado me pedía.
Yeah. So at the beginning, it was him. Like he would go out there and try to look for what he thought the market was asking for in his marketplace, right? And don't forget, he started in Italy, but Spain and France, all these different places, right?
Sí.
So he understood because every market is different. So he understood what every culture needed. So he would go out there and look like, oh, this could be good business for these folks. And he has a list of, let's say, DJs, because I know this personally about his whole thing. And he will be like, oh, I know what they're looking for, I know what they're looking for, I know what they're looking for. What if I can bring somebody that can fill that up, right? So then at the beginning, that's how he began. He would go out there and search.
Digo, poco a poco, ¿no? Buscar, porque cada ciudad en Italia funcionan diferentes géneros y diferentes artistas. En Europa, sí, y claro, en Europa también. Y después están los artistas que me interesaban a mí para trabajar con mi disquera, ¿no? Directamente. Entonces buscaba, mandaba email. En los primeros años que todavía me llegaban los promo CD, que ahora es todo digital. Pues yo soy uno de los asociados del Latinos Unidos Record Pool de New York, que ahora se corrió. Son 20 años que trabajo con ellos. Antes llegaban cajas de CD, ahora es todo digital, cambió toda la tecnología.
So that's how it used to be, right? And then so over the years, he says that, of course, back in the days, he used to get all these boxes of promos, from his association for 20 years with Latinos Unidos Record Pool in New York, which he brought to Europe. But then he'd get all these things. He says, obviously now it's so much easier because we get all the digital downloads and all of that. So that was easy. Now it's easier to get.
Sí, cambió todo totalmente. Y después, poco a poco, muchos artistas escriben ya directamente porque están interesados en un nuevo mercado, que es el mercado europeo.
Pero ¿cómo tú eliges? How do you choose who to work with? Is what I just said.
Bueno, por suerte, tengo oído de DJ, como creo que hay muchos por aquí, que reconocen. Reconozco a mi gusto personal lo que puede ser un éxito.
He recognizes what could be successful or what he thinks.
Entonces escribo inmediatamente, o si veo que una canción está agarrando rating, lo llamo enseguida para poder.
Or if he sees that a song is like bubbling up or whatever, he's like, oh, okay, that can work, and he figures it out. And so the point is that he gets on it right away, and he sends out emails. He gets to people, which is what we're saying here. Go after it, don't wait.
Pasó, el ejemplo más grande fue que en el 2003 hice el primer tour de Aventura, el que canta bachata.
In 2003, he was the first person that he saw this young band bubbling up. A band called Aventura, Romeo Santos.
Con Romeo, sí.
So he was like, you know what?
Reconocí esa bachata, era Obsesión, la época de Obsesión. Funcionó, hice 9 conciertos en toda Italia, 9 concerts in Italy.
So when nobody knew it, nobody was doing nothing, he heard that song Obsesión, and then he plucked him out of New York City, brought him to Italy.
Después lo llevé a varios programas de televisión, a radios,
TV,
radios nacionales.
National radio.
Y después de ahí se me abrieron muchas puertas porque Aventura tuvo un éxito enorme.
And after that, he says, after he did that, he put him on national TV, put him on different things in these cities. Obviously, the doors opened up because it was so crazy. And then, of course, we know that it got picked up here because that's just how it works. You make it out there, then you come back here, as I said.
Y ahora cuando Romeo viene a Italia,
And whenever he comes to Italy now, Romeo,
yo le abro los conciertos
and he
siempre.
opens the concerts for him. as he did.
Con my staff,
With his staff,
con bailarines,
dancers.
DJ set.
Yeah, very nice.
Y ahora va a estar el 4 de mayo en Milano y el 6 en Nápoli.
So he's going to be in May, the 4th and the 6th, Roma, Milano,
Sí,
and Napoli.
Y Nápoles. Y ahí voy a estar también abriendo.
Yeah.
Y nada.
So anyway, the beauty of it is he's just giving you a sample of how he plugged that out of nowhere, decided that, ooh, this can work, put him on out there in that market, and all of a sudden our market here recognized it. And FYI, if you don't know who Romeo Santos is by now, he's only the guy that sold out Yankee Stadium 3 days in a row by himself a couple of years ago. So he's one of the biggest Latin artists of all. Actually, he's the biggest Latin artist of all time now. You know, and of course you got Enrique and Pitbull and everybody else, but this guy gets more airplay than anybody else. Y otra cosa, entonces, a nivel de tu, ¿qué está pasando con esa compañía? Tenemos 10 minutos.
Sí, so,
Es más, vamos a coger preguntas.
Sí, sí.
Let's just get some questions in since we have a little bit of time. You guys ask the questions, whatever it is that you think you want to know.
There's a mic?
No mic.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Juwon. I'm international from South Korea. I'm a student right now, and I'm trying to get into music industry after I graduate. So I'm gonna be making my first career steps. So I was wondering, what really inspired you to be who you are right now? Like, I heard you first started off as musicians, pianists. How did you, like, what kind of events or people inspired you to be who you are right now?
Yeah. Do you want to start?
Sure. I think one of the most important things is realizing or stepping into your purpose. I think that's one of the most powerful things you can do as a start. Really connecting with who you are and finding that out. Because, I mean, when we're in the early stages, especially when we're musicians, you know, we have this idea that we're going to be like these superstars. I remember when I was really young, I thought I was going to be like, you know, the Horowitz and the Lang of right? But I didn't really know what that really meant. So as, you know, life throws whatever it can at you, you start realizing where your strengths are and where you find that kind of drive and where you can contribute the most. And that's at least how I got to you know, step into this. And it was really in the education part, like serving others. I knew that I was really good at it, and I knew that I could get someone from not knowing something to knowing it really well and then having a lot of success with it. Now, how can I, you know, for me, for example, I teach a lot like one-on-one, but I realize also that as rewarding as that is, it's a low-scale impact. But what if I could do the same with larger groups, right? So that's what really, okay, now we're talking about global thing, right? And with music, you can do that because it's actually pretty much the only global language, right? We all speak music.
Music is the biggest passion in the world.
Exactly, period. And it doesn't matter where you come from. Music is music. And
I just want to say like two quick things, and it's great. I mean, you're welcome obviously to sign up like with Stereotech because we wanna you know hear from you guys and like what you need, what are your skills, how can we help you? So we're all for that. Two quick things was that as musicians we're really fortunate to be you know to think and breathe and live creativity all the time. So the amount and volume of ideas that we can have, it's amazing. But something that I learned throughout, and I learned that through a person called Scott Belsky. He's the founder of Behance.net. His company got bought by $100 million by Adobe. And I read his book called Making Ideas Happen. And the problem that we have as creators is that we create a lot of stuff, but normally we don't execute all of them. And he just put on the book a very cool formula that was basically, if you have 100 ideas and you execute none, the result will always be 0, right? If you have 50 ideas and you execute 2, the result will be 100. So it's like very simple math, but it got me to the stage where I say, I have to learn how to execute. I have to learn how to be, take things with patience, enjoy the process as well of learning every time that I do take another step, and enjoy kind of like the network, it's your net worth, right? So everyone that you connect with, provide value. And yeah, I don't know, ¿quieres hablar como tu inspiración?
Otra pregunta diferente.
Ah, bueno, listo, sí.
¿Sabrías hacer una cosa? Una pregunta aquí. Somos de California, me llamo Eric, usted es mi socio. Somos de California, me llamo Eric, es mi socio, Young Quex, un artista. Estamos terminando de grabar un disco en español, completamente en rap. Nunca lo hemos hecho, pero estoy interesado más o menos cómo entrar al mercado latino, así como Sudamérica y Europa, tal vez, Italia, España, todas esas áreas.
¿Cómo era? ¿Qué dijo? Si es que están, ¿cómo hacer
para entrar a ese mercado con un disco latino, todo en español? El disco se llama Internacional también.
Ah, ok. Bueno, ya empezamos.
Qué casualidad.
Empezamos bien con el título. Sí, lo bueno que hay en Europa, que el mercado musical está sano todavía, en el sentido que yo sé que en Estados Unidos, en Latinoamérica, o se da dinero al DJ, o se paga la radio, o se necesita dinero para empezar. En Italia, por suerte, es todo un poquito a nivel musical, al menos lo que es el mercado latino, más sano. La gente, si le gusta la canción, la ponen, el DJ te da crédito, el DJ te ayuda.
So basically what he's saying is that over there, right, in Italy, they still have a healthy market, which means it's vegan. So therefore, what it means is that there's no, right now, you don't have to be paying DJs, this and that, whatever. There's no payola going on. Where out here, if you want to really break a song with whoever, even if you got homeboys or this and that on the radio stations, it's hard. You got to pay, somebody's got to get paid. But out there, it's still at the point where if the music is good and the DJ believes in you, they start spinning it. And somebody like him who has 1,600 people, this is the guy you want to know. So
Discúlpame, si se pide dinero es porque se invierte en algo.
Yeah. If you ask for money there, if they ask for money, it's because they're investing in something.
Promoción, o porque sale un flyer, o porque hay que gastarlo necesariamente para poder llegar al más público posible.
Y le voy a explicar también que es porque la conexión de los clubs, como ustedes lo trabajan, eso.
Sí, una cadena un network.
Exactly. So, lo que él dice es que what he's saying is that because there's still the market that it is there, they're not so much interested in making money off of you to put the stuff on. If the stuff is good, they will put it on because they have such a network that they know that if they get you on for the first 2 or 3 months and you're playing hard, guess what happens? They know you're coming on their first promo tour 3 months from now. They're setting that up. This is how they make money. So now they got their chain of clubs that they have deals with, and now you're coming, let's say he brings you on a 10-city tour to like 3 clubs per city. All of a sudden, all those DJs are getting taken care of, every single promoter. And by the way, just so you know, my experience has been that most DJs there, they're not just employees. They're bosses like Mr. Irie, they're bosses like Mr. Catalini, which that means that they have the power to really put you on. And in those markets, you automatically get what? TV, radio, blogs, this and that, and they put you on.
Or also, just super quick, I would say also like to get into that. Since we're international, it's also a great asset right now, and that's kind of like the biggest, advantage that you have. But I would say also like, really source out and investigate what small brands that are growing in those markets that you want to enter, and say, hey, my brand is, fits with my music, with your music. Let's make a deal, and that's how you start kind of like sourcing out the, like small communities and niche.
Are there certain record pools?
No, digo, una cosa importante, rápido, porque ya nos dicen que tenemos que cerrar. Que lo importante en el mercado es ser honestos, trabajar honestamente, ser de palabra, porque si no se arruina todo lo que te circunda. Eso es lo importante.
Integrity is everything.
Pagar la gente que hay que
When
pagar.
you say something, you do it.
commit,
You're
yeah.
a man of your word, commit, and or a woman of your word, commit, because it's a small circle, as we know. Number one. ¿Y qué fue lo último que dijiste?
Digo, no, que hay que ser honesto y pagar a toda la gente.
And when you say you're going to pay people, pay them.
Porque la semillita del éxito hay que darle agua poco a poco, si no, no crece.
Because that
Water
little
the seed,
seed
water
of
the plant.
success, you got to water it little by little so that it can flourish. And if you don't, if you don't do that, don't take care of your people, it's never going to grow. So.
We're giving away these two books. I just wanted to give you, for the first question right there. I know you're starting out, so.
Go ahead, you give it.
Well, I can't stand up, so probably. And you guys as well. It'd be great if you
The
could
name of
do
the
it,
book
yeah.
is How to
After-
Land a
for
Job
him
in
as
the
well.
Music Industry.
Thank you guys.
Saludo.
Keep in touch.
And by the way,
Gracias.
eventually I'm going to probably force them to, whoever's watching live or whoever's getting whatever, that they get copies of these things.
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna
So
send the
everybody
links
should
and
get
stuff,
copies
yeah.
of How to Land a Job in the Industry. On the other panel next door, we have Hacking Music. So you guys are going to get a copy of that. So
That's cool. Thank you guys.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And by the way, we're going to bring everybody else into one room for the next panel. So we're going to take a couple of minute break, right? That's
Okay,
the plan.
vamos.
And then we're going to bring
Oh,
everybody here.
bien,
And
esto es
DJ Irie
fundamental.
and a bunch of other
Muchas
guys.
gracias.
A couple of other guys will be here.
Ya salió, ok.
Chévere.
Español.
Mucho gusto.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Perfecto. Mucho gusto, mucho gusto.
De ley son. Vivo en OC. Sí.
Súper, súper. Tenés,
Ah,
tienes
sí,
la,
yo vivo
la,
en
el teléfono,
Orange County, abajo.
tienes
Sí,
iPhone.
en Irvine.
Stereotype. Yeah, I mean, I just want to give you my card if you want to look up and email me.
Open,
Yeah, I'd love to.
open the camera.
Totally, man, for sure.
Camera
Appreciate it,
for
man. I grab a
pictures.
seat before I pull
La
it.
foto. Ahí. No. Here. It's ready. Ahí está todos mis datos ya. Ahí tienes email, número de teléfono. Sí, cómo no. Sí. Dale. Una fotito ahí.
De México a Italia.
Ok. Gracias a ustedes. Después mándamela por WhatsApp también la foto que la uso. Ecco, finito adesso, è andata bene, bello, allegro, carico, non ho potuto dire tutte le cose perché dai, traducendo è difficile, però c'è caso che mi ha detto che al pomeriggio riusciamo a fare un altro intervento perché dobbiamo parlare anche di altre cose, ma è andata bene, già qui anche c'erano dei latini qui, foto, richieste, già sono tutti contenti, tutto bene, dai, è passato, l'ansia è passata, è andata bene. Bacio a tutti, ciao ciao. Ah sì.
As we're getting set up for the next panel and rounding people up in here, if you missed Wade and John, who are the authors of Hacking Music, they're just officially launching their book here. So they did a great panel. If you were in there, we thought we would take this opportunity to, maybe answer a question or two about the book. And everyone's going to be receiving an email. You're going to get a digital download of the book today. And then also at lunch, up by the tables in the front, they're going to be hanging out. So if you want to ask some questions, you can answer, or you can ask them then.
Yeah. Okay.
So who was in the room next door?
Questions?
Hey.
We want you to read it too. But nobody has any questions? Something? Come on. Give me a question.
Let's go back to the topic of teams.
Okay. What about teams? Anything in specific?
Well, what do you think are some of the key, qualities that you might be looking for? So you're an artist, you're building this brand, you're creating this content. Who are some important people you want on your team?
For me, work ethic followed by reliability.
Here's a couple
I
questions.
look for
right
people
here.
that are reliable every time. Go ahead. Does she have a microphone? No, here, I'll get you.
Here. Tell us your name.
Hi, my name is Michelle, and I'm a singer-songwriter. But I had a question about when you're starting out, and we were talking about teams, but when you're starting out and you're trying to, no, this is the question I want to ask. I've had conversations with people about putting people on their team that are either friends and are really good at something versus paying, a lawyer is more expensive, but getting a financial advisor or getting somebody that you don't really know to be on your team versus somebody that's, that has a knack for it,
right.
or somebody that's in your circle or could be a friend or a mutual friend.
There's kind of two parts to that. One is you want to, as an aspirational baby artist, work within your friend circle first. And then you'll graduate out of that. You'll see the gaps in how that works, but you'll make a lot of mistakes. Some things will work, but you'll learn a ton. So I say start with your friends, and then as you graduate, you start to expand your brain trust of people. One of the things that's really important is ask for mentors. People here, there's just a tremendous amount of ability at this conference. So ask people, say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to bug you, but I'd love to be able to email you twice a year and get you to check my thinking on something. That says a lot about you and how you think and about how you put a team together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Another thing to keep in mind is the music business is a business of relationships. Okay. So when you say, should I talk to friends? Should I get friends to do this? After you've been doing this for a while and you've built up that network, you're going to see there are going to be a lot of lines that become blurred between somebody that you're working with and friends. I mean, John and I originally started out knowing each other on Facebook. There was a dinner during CMA Fest, and it was, at that point very much a business relationship, but obviously through working together, we become friends. So you're talking about, should I start filling these voids with people who are friends that might be able to do it?
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot of blurred lines with a lot of the people that you work with. But otherwise, what John was saying, start within that circle of friends.
Yeah.
That's really good advice because early on, you're not going to have a lot of money to hire people. So it comes back to that whole idea of how much can I do with the little bit that I have available to me.
That's right.
And that's why you draw upon those people in the early phases.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for being here and for offering the book to everyone and just being available and bringing your knowledge. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I think we are ready.
Thank you guys for organizing.
Thank you.
Right. We're going with Rachel.
All right, I'm not touching my butt. I'm just grabbing the mic thing. All right. What's up, everybody? Thank you for coming once again. This is actually going to be a very, very special treat for myself. First, I want Rachel to introduce one of our awesome panelists. He's got a lot of insight or inside knowledge as to how things work when it comes to the management part of things and creating opportunities for artists and brands, agencies, all these different things. His name is?
Brandon Frankel. So Brandon and I, we met just recently, and I saw his background. He was like just making crazy moves at Paradigm, working with William Morris, working with all sorts of talent, branding, touring, every side. And he just started his own company recently that launched this year, Contra Inc. And so we just really thought that it would be a great opportunity for him to come out here, meet everyone. And so he's going to be with a very special friend of Jalen's.
This is a special treat right here because he and I have a special relationship. You'll understand that in a minute. I don't want to get too much into that. But what I do have to tell you is this is world famous DJ Irie. Everybody knows him as the happiest DJ in the planet, pretty much. He makes people happy. That's the way I always see it. I mean, this guy is the DJ for everything. I don't know, man. You see him at the Super Bowl, at the Pro Bowl, NBA on TNT, Good Morning America, the White House. I'm thinking he probably made so much money he cloned himself because I just don't know how he makes it to all these different appearances. But every time I see him, he's somewhere else around the planet. And more importantly, he's an incredible human being, and he's Miami's own 305, Mr. NBA. He's got 3 rings to prove it.
How you doing? I'm good. Am I on?
You are on.
I'm on. You guys hear me all right?
Get Brandon in here.
So can I hire you to come on the road and do that all the time? Because that was lit. How you guys doing? What's up, man? You good? Respect. I'm doing great. Can we talk for a little bit?
Yeah.
Come out?
No, the floor is yours for a minute.
Okay. Hold on. By the way, it's cold out here.
It is.
Yo, it's cold. They should like hand you a coffee as you come off the plane. You know what I mean? And man, oh my God, not built for that. Not built for that. First of all, can we just stop for a second and really recognize this man and the whole Mekon team for putting together an exceptional event. This is just awesome. For real. Thank you. Absolutely. Obviously, a lot of hard work went into making this happen. And you know what? To go from ideation, and conception, and put that work into making it happen, it's not an easy thing. So, for real, congratulations, man. Congratulations, guys. So, that was a great intro, man. I appreciate it. So, it's your boy, DJ Irie. I guess I want to tell you a little bit about, how I got started. I was a kid that was just super passionate and just engulfed myself in music from a very early age. And I think a big part of that was I grew up in a musical family. Not that anyone played any instruments or had any talent. They just played a lot of music, So, just as a kid and hearing my dad play, Bob Marley and Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye and I just really just fell in love with music to the point where when I got to middle school, I was collecting records, right? So I was going to boarding school at the time as well. So the money that my parents would send me for like lunch and all that, I wouldn't even spend it on lunch. I would save it and buy records. And I would go to my homies and be like, yo, you gonna eat your cornbread? You know what I mean? Serious. Because I had to have the music, And for me, it was so many really great lessons, early in life because, when you really want something and you set your goal and you have laser focus, you do anything. You do whatever it takes to get what you want. You do whatever it takes. For me, that first step was going hungry a lot. Because it was more important to have records. But now moving a little bit past that, in high school, in my first DJ opportunity, and I'm gonna make this quick, but I gotta tell the story because it's like it really is the moment, the moment of truth, and it involves a woman, believe it or not. Right? Yeah, right. So check this out. By the time I got to high school, I had already amassed probably about like 5,000 records.
Wow.
Right? Which is a lot of records, right? I mean, so.
A lot of records to carry.
A lot of records to carry. But my parents were like, listen, you know, have all the records you want as long as you keep them in your room. We don't want them all over the house. If they're in your room, in your space, you're fine, right? So check this out. I had this huge crush on this girl in my class, right? She was good friends with my next door neighbor, right? I didn't think she knew because I didn't know her. We never spoke, but I was always like, where does she go? You know how it is, you know? So my neighbor knew. So this is what he did. One day we come home, right? We're on the bus, come home. I was the first one to get home, right? So I was home alone, just chilling. He knew that, right? He goes and calls her and says, yo, let's go over Ian's house, right? That's me.
Yeah.
So, let's go over Ian's house, right? So they come over, ding dong. By the way, I'm home alone, chilling. I'm in my underoos, you know what I mean? Just got my little bowl of cereal, I'm chilling, I got like 2 hours alone, right? So I'm like, oh my God, I freak out. I'm like, what are they doing here, right? They know me, they're like, we know you inside, open the door, right? So I open it up, they come in, this dude's setting me up, right? This dude comes in with her, and I'm sitting there like, hey, what's going on, guys? I just want to come and hang out. He's like, oh man, I gotta do something for my mom, but I'll be right back. Leaves me alone with her, right? I'm freaking out, man. I'm freaking out. I forget the English language. I'm just like, I don't know what to do, right? So anyway, so she knows because he tipped her off already. So what she did was she took charge. And she's like, well, show me around the house. Like, I want to see. So I'm like, all right. So I'm showing her around. I don't want to show her my room because I have records everywhere, right?
Stacked up.
And I don't want her to think, by the way, the first way to burn yourself, all right, is to say, I'm a record connoisseur, right? I have fine taste in vinyl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, what am I going to do, right? So she comes around the house, she's like, yo, I want to see your room. I'm like, well, it's not working right now, it's out of order, you know what I mean? See the sign, you know what I mean? Yeah. Yo, she was adamant. I open my door. She walks in, sees the records everywhere. Her face lights up. She goes, oh my God, look at all these records. I didn't know you were a DJ. I love DJs. I was like, of course I'm a DJ. So, and her family, her dad, happened to be the manager of Planet Hollywood. Remember Planet Hollywood, back in the day? And by the end of that afternoon, we were just sitting there talking, she was like, you gotta come do our New Year's party. I never did it in my life, right? But I ended up doing it because I couldn't turn back at that point, And things kind of worked out, right? Isn't that crazy? Gig. That's crazy, that's crazy.
All right, see now. Yo, the next guest, I feel like Jimmy Fallon now. This is kind of dope.
Do I come? Is it me?
Come on, Brandon.
Price is right.
Give him a hand, yo.
Come on.
First of all.
Did we all get cars? No.
First of all, before we start, I kind of wanted the little rundown a little rundown you just gave us down there.
The Cliff Notes?
Yeah, the Cliff Notes, the 60-second Cliff Notes. Man, you're good at that. People got to learn. That pitch is amazing.
Track. Brandon Frankel, very traditional, college dropout, don't drop out, go to school. So basically, I was that weird little 3-year-old that wanted to work in the music business. My parents think I was a nut job, probably were correct. Worked at magazines, age 13, was like, how do I get into this? I figured it out, lied, said I was 18. Did that for a bit, ended up working at Atlantic Records right out of high school.
For 7 years?
7 years. Moved through different departments, kept seeing where the changes were happening, like, okay, this department's gonna get lopped first, moved, blah, 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 blah. Ended up in touring, just wanted to meet all the agents, so then I wanted to work at the Windish Agency, which is no longer a thing, because it got acquired by Paradigm. But it was like Diplo, Major Lazer, Lord, Alt-J, Chromeo, all the left to center stuff that was like just coming cool. And it was a 2-year-old startup, hit up the guy, I really want to work for you. I don't know how to pay for you. I'm like, I'm 24. I don't know how to do that. So I take a job at this place that I had to Google called CAA. I'm like, oh, they got Oprah. Sick. So I go to work at Entourage, and I was 25 and an agent, which I was like, I don't even know what this means. Did marketing for people like Kanye West and One Republic and Shania Twain and Zach Brown Band and blah, blah, blah. To corporate, whatever, go to the Windish agency, which was my dream. Quickly start the branding department, marketing, and then...
How many departments did you pretty much run there?
Like from then till Paradigm's End? 4, 5?
Jeez.
Plus therapist. And then, so, you know, did the branding thing, and then Windish got acquired by Paradigm, so we merged into a bigger company, had more roster, and then decided, okay, I didn't leave corporate to go back to corporate. So left in December, formed 2 companies, Contra Inc., management company. I have a bunch of different clients across music, TV, film, just personalities, street artists, that kind of stuff. And then I have an agency that consults for people like Justice, the DJ duo. I work with Golden Voice on a project that do Coachella, all sorts of cool stuff. That's it.
Wow. So needless to say, you know, sometimes you just don't know how the journey is going to begin or where it's going to take you. But what you do know is that if you have a passion for, you know, being a part of something special, it begins with just knowing that, what was it you said back there? I just want to be happy and not work with.
I just want to work with people I like.
There you go.
I'm like, I used to work on 800 clients, and like Paradigm, Windish, all that stuff was great, like great clients, but I had 800 kids to feed.
Yeah.
It's a lot of kids. So imagine if I was doing a ton of stuff for that much being spread thin, if I had only a select amount that I can hyper-focus on, the heck can I do?
So I want to know, this is probably one of the best, most important questions that I can ask the 2 of you on your journey, right? Everything's cool when you have the budget, when everything's cool, this and that. That's great. But what are some of the challenges that you faced, you know, in your respective industries coming up, you know, in order for you to overcome those challenges and be who you are today? Like, what are some of the challenges that you've had to overcome?
1 or 2. 1 or 2 challenges in my life. No, I mean, wow. You know what? Certainly, a lot of challenges. You know, early in my career. You know, one that I want to share with you guys really came down to believing in yourself. Right? That is so important because that's where you're really going to pull out that energy, right, and that will to get through it. Because, you know, for me, when I first started, I knew I wanted to DJ on South Beach, right?
Wow.
As a kid in Miami, you know, you're hearing about all these different, you know, amazing, you know, talents, you know, coming in and performing, and the Winter Music Conference and Big Festival, all these things happening on Miami Beach, and to be, yeah, right, you know, and but to be from there and be on the outskirts of that, you know,
tough.
It's tough. You know, you really want to be a part of that. And for me, that opportunity opened up by way of, get this promoter said, yeah, okay, I'll give you a shot. I'm starting a new club, right? He goes, I have house music in the main room, but you can play in the side room. Well, the side room was actually a room with 4 walls. That's it. Yeah. He's like, I have $100 budget, but you got to bring the lights and the sound. Dead ass serious, right? And at the time, I didn't own my own equipment, right? I didn't have lights, I didn't have equipment, I didn't have a truck, you know. So I had friends that had. So, you know, I had a friend that rented me his DJ equipment for $100.
Wow.
I had another friend that rented me lights for $75. By the way,
so now you're investing.
You see where the math is going, right? And then I had another friend that would lend me his truck for $50.
Jeez.
And then guess what I did? I worked from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. And this went on for week after week after week after week after week. But my thing was this. I believed in myself, and I knew that I could create something special there,
Yeah.
right? I knew I could create enough of a buzz where he would say, wow, I don't just, want this guy, I need this guy, you know? And you know what? Every week, the room did better and better and better, to the point where there's more people waiting to get inside the hip-hop room than they were in the house music room. And then it flipped. They put me in the main room, and then they put house in the small room. And, then I started charging $2,500 a night, you know what I mean? But for real, you know?
Entrepreneur and backline.
And yeah, right?
And a buyout.
Serious.
And catering. And your writer.
Yeah, right?
There's the management.
Says the agent.
Yeah, right?
They're your non-agent agent.
That's awesome. What about you? What are some of the challenges that you face coming up?
I mean, I was really young. I knew what I wanted to do. Everyone said no, a lot of no's, but I'm a problem solver. And if you tell me no, you're fueling my fire. So I feed off that. So sort of like the Cardi B acceptance speech of like the haters make you stronger, whatever. Literally, I was just like, you know what? I see people that have stuff I want, instead of being like, F you, like, what the? I was like, man, what do I got to do to get that? So I tried to think, and I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, so that's not really like a music mecca or anything. Just a lot of no's and people that just like don't want to give you a chance, and the younger you are, the more they either do not want to F with you, or they don't take you seriously, or if you're like me and you got green hair and skinny jeans and whatever, like I'm as dumb as you want me. I'm as dumb as you want me to be, but like you just really have to remember that if you really want something, you just got to figure it out, and don't do anything like immoral or illegal. But
don't burn a bridge. We keep talking about that.
People are gonna hate on you. People are gonna tell you no, but you just figure out how to turn no's into yeses.
I will say this though, if you're experiencing people hating on you, that means you're doing something right. Straight up, straight up. The more pushback you get, the more people that you see hating on you, honestly, that means you're making moves.
Wow.
Because dead serious.
So question, so how do you build a network, right? How do you start reaching out to folks that you see that you, like you say, you admire possibly, and then how do you get them to maybe at the beginning not follow you because they don't really know you or have the time to, nothing against you, it's just they're busy people.
Yeah.
But how do you get them to notice you enough where you start creating those opportunities like you and I when we first met, which we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah, well, that's a great story, but I'll wait for you to hit that whenever you want.
So first answer that. How do you start building that network, and then we'll get into that story.
I mean, for me, I was like the kid that used MySpace early on and amassed, I think, 25,000 friends, including Tom.
Who are your top 8? No, just kidding. Just kidding.
It was really important, and people would get in fights over who's your top 8, then there's the top 12, and whatever. But I just used social media before there was the stupid, and I work with creators, but influencers. So I would use social media to get attention, and brands would give me clothes to post bulletins and stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, wait, okay, social media, huh? And this was early. So then Facebook.
Yeah, of course.
Fitting. I begged a friend at an Ivy League school for their alumni email to join when you couldn't join. And then I just started to realize that, I'd bump into like, a Julie Greenwald, who I adore, Lear Cohen, whoever it is. All these people have everyone that like kind of just get yesy and like, this is what you want to hear. So I'm going to just like tell you what you want to hear.
Advising.
I'm not going to speak the truth. And I don't do that. My name is Brandon Frankel. Nickname is B. Frank. So literally, I just treat the person who takes the garbage out to the CEO of a company the same until you're proven otherwise.
That's right.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
I've told, like, if anyone knows Carol Lewis, the biggest agent in hip hop, found Kanye, Tupac, like, need I go on? Everyone's terrified of her. She's epic. We had a disagreement. I told her how it was, and then mad respect. So I just go in and I'm just real, and you'll be surprised how many people. I mean, a lot of these people want their, their oh my god. But a lot of people just don't get real. Nobody's real with them. There's a lot of yes people. You just have to go put your butt out there, introduce yourself, go to events like this, talk to people, and just don't be afraid, because fear is like death.
Yeah.
Fear will crush, as will your ego. So kill your ego and kill your fear within reason.
Yeah.
Be respectful and just try. What's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to be like, sorry, no.
Yeah.
No reply.
Yeah.
Try again.
And as far as, and Irie, oh my goodness, if you guys don't know, please just go to his IG and see what his network actually looks like and the people that come to his event. But they're not just people that are attending his events. That's what I love about Irie, is the type of relationships that I've seen since I met him. He's grown his network incredibly, but more importantly, the type of people that just want to show him love, which is the reason why Irie Weekend was born.
Yeah.
And if you hadn't built that network and those bridges,
100%.
that wouldn't have happened. So tell us a little bit about your networking.
Well, first thing, it's your outlook and your perception. What I did was, a lot of DJs, and no disrespect, but just perception. But a lot of DJs, view getting a gig and going and playing the gig and doing a good job playing it as the end-all, be-all, right? And that's cool, right? Because that's really what you're going there for. But for me, I took a much different outlook in that, if I got hired to perform somewhere, it wasn't just about going in there and playing some good songs, having a good time. It's a platform.
Yes.
Right? And I look out at that audience, and I said, you know what? There are definitely at least one, if not more, people out there that could be important to my career going forward.
You never know.
You never know.
Who you're going to meet.
You never know, So you have to really take the time and also make yourself accessible, right? So you can really get to know what's going on. Because let me tell you something. In all the business deals that I've done, right, all the different opportunities, it all leads back to different events and people that I've met.
Wow.
That's
incredible.
So you got to, you have to look at it that way.
So let me ask you this. What do you remember about this young man that walked into the American Airlines Arena to a very small room where you were waiting?
Yep. Was that 2000?
Can I guess who this guy was? I don't have a degree, but I think I might know.
All right, can I set up real quick?
Yeah.
All right, this is the Jalen Irie connection story. It's actually pretty cool. So, in 1999, right, I was approached by the Miami Heat. They were just moving from the Miami Arena to the American Airlines Arena, and they wanted to add some new entertainment components, to the in-game experience. And one of the things was to hire a DJ, an official DJ. So they came, they spoke to me. I actually turned it down at first, when keeping it real goes wrong, by the way, right? It wasn't on brand at the time, right? But someone spoke some sense into me, and they were very persistent. So anyway, I ended up accepting the opportunity, and the first season went by, and it was really great. So now we're in the second season, right? The 2001 season. And the Heat folks call me and say, hey, listen, Microsoft is coming in and buying out the entire arena for a big global conference that they're doing. They were at a game, and they want you to do what you do at the game at their conference. I was like,
money.
Yeah. I was like, I can do that. So I met with them. They had these big plans and said, hey, you know what? We want to pair you with someone else. They didn't know who it was at the time yet. They're interviewing and all that. Because we have this whole, plan of execution that we want to do. And I was like, all right, cool. So anyway, fast forward, they're like, hey, we want you to meet the guy that you're going to be working with, right?
Jay-Z.
And in comes Jalen, right? By the way, I wish you guys had posted. He looked a lot different back then, man. He had these crazy dreads going on, and not like the really nice dreads, like the broke dreads. You know what I'm talking about? Like, for real, like
truth. That was my. What am I gonna do now?
I call them the struggle dreads. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I said, you know what? They put us together and we just had a little conversations. I was like, man, this dude's a cool dude, And we ended up having to go around the city and shoot a bunch of stuff, right? And I'll let you pick up. But for me, the coolest part of the whole thing was the day of the event, right? They put us in in our little green room, right? And we were sharing the green room with some other folks that we actually went out before they came in. But what was cool is this. There's a clothing rack, right? And they made these special jackets for us, that we lit up and all that, right? So there was 4 jackets, right? And they had the names of each person, the different sizes, you know, on the jacket. So it was Jalen, Irie, Gates, Ballmer.
Yes,
I was like,
the founders,
shit.
yeah, the founders of Microsoft and us too.
Yeah, for real. So it was like Bill Gates' jacket, Steve Ballmer's jacket, my jacket, Jalen's jacket. I was like, those are our jackets. You know,
I'll take the Gates.
So now pick
Is
it
there
up.
a jetpack? No.
So I'll give you the quick rundown. Now pick it up from that moment that I got the phone call at the restaurant where I'm like, what? Okay, I'll come right now. And I hang up and I run through the park that I lived at. And I ran through the park. I waved at the park bench that I slept at. And I get there, elevator. Oh my God, 5 o'clock traffic, people coming out. Oh, I'm not gonna make the audition. I go upstairs, 10 flights. Bust through the door, my dress are now dripping all over my face. You know, I bust through the door, and I'm like, and the lady's like, oh my gosh, just sign in later. And I'm like, I come in through the door, there's a panel of people sitting there, and of course it's the Microsoft people. I don't know this at the time, right? So I sit down, and I'm like, I'm here for the audition. And they're like, okay, can you first take off your apron? I have my dishwashing apron on.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, this is totally not gonna happen. But then my voice kept saying, think positive, be positive.
Manifest.
And as I stood there on the X,
Yeah.
and they said, all right, tell us something interesting about yourself. And remember, I'm like out of breath. I'm like, and I looked at the camera. My name is Jalen James Acosta, and if you look out the window, that's where I sleep. I'm homeless, but I'm happy. And they freaked out.
Mic drop.
So then, anyway, forward to that moment, me and him are sitting there, and I'm, he's spinning, he's doing his thing. Remember the first song?
Yep.
Welcome to Miami by Will Smith, and they had converted all the lyrics to the Microsoft. So this is the world launch of the Microsoft, what you guys know now as the Xbox.
Yeah, right.
So the Xbox, and we were hosting this event. He was DJing and co-hosting, and I was hosting, and then we were doing all those cool interviews. But the point is, more importantly, the friendship that we built. Imagine I was an asshole. Imagine I was some guy that, or either way, right? Over the years, this man, as I was trying to make my way up and this and that, he'd call me out of nowhere and be like, Jay, I got you tickets to the Latin Awards. What's up? He didn't have to do that. Jay, hey, got you tickets to the Heat game. And I'm not talking about just like tickets on the bleeding.
I mean,
I'm talking about like, right here where I'm like, the player, so the point is, again, your network is your net worth. And that relationship that grew over the years, watching him inspiring me as he became a legend in the game and built all of this and whatever, and me, going up and down and getting that Latin international thing and then going back down and then launching tech companies and going back down and all these different things throughout all of it, no matter what, still my friend, still inspired me, still helped me out, still gave me tickets to whatever I harassed him for, And the point is that true friendship, because we kept it real. And so that lesson, I think, is very, very important for all of you guys here. And I'm sure for yourself, building your company, those relationships you build along the way.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years, which is messed up. But I mean, literally, like, I was the intern that was just hopeful that someone would reply to me. A lot of not. I mean, the old school model of a lot of things, which you're probably seeing right now with the collapse of Hollywood and sexism and bigotry and all that crap. Times are changing.
Yes. New narrative.
There's multiple ways to reach out to people if you really want to get a hold of them: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. But I remember being the kid that really just wished someone would give me like 2 seconds of time, and I finally found people that did that, and I ended up with like 5, 6 amazing mentors that I'm blessed.
Yeah.
And then I return the favor by people that hit me up. I always reply. Sometimes it's slow. Take coffees. Yeah. You never know where someone came from or where they're going, and it shouldn't matter. And it's not for ROI, but it doesn't take a lot of time or effort to give someone a little bit of human attention, because it really goes very far, and people are suffering and dealing with things behind closed doors that they may or may not ever share, and you can make or break someone's whole day, week, life, everything.
Yeah.
So just be a human, like, just respect until it's not deserved anymore.
Right.
And
I want to take the next 10 minutes, by the way. First of all, are these guys not amazing? Thank you for sharing your journey. You know, it's important to know, you know, the entrepreneurs that you see, you know, have a journey and went through stuff and endured and perseverance, determination, building passionate
Picking up dog
networks.
poop for your boss.
There you go. So I want to take the last few minutes for some questions from the audience for these guys. And yeah, please, anybody?
Don't all jump at once.
Yeah, and there's
I'm overwhelmed. I'm
microphones.
overwhelmed.
All right, so who's the first?
Victim.
Victim. There you go. There's somebody up there.
And you get a car. Just kidding. We're at Harvard.
Yeah, I just want to say, Ari, I'm a big fan. Big fan.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thanks,
You know, you make great music, man, and you've been doing it a long time, man. So, from your boy Dark Child, I just want to say he's a big fan. I'm a big fan.
Oh, man. I said, yo.
Yeah.
Hey, Dark Child's in the house, yo.
Yes.
Hey, I just want to say this real quick. Man, Rod, it's so good to see you, man. So good to see you. You guys are amongst greatness right now. Not only in his talent and everything he's accomplished, but in the person that he is. Because let me tell you something. For me, I mean, we met ages ago, and I was someone just local, you know, on the scene. And I think, Rod, you were in town recording, right? And we made the connection. And at the time, Roddy already had like some of the biggest hits on the planet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for him to even make time to speak to me was my whole world, you know? But to be able to sit in the studio with him and, you know, watch his art was one of the most inspiring things at that point in my career. And I don't think I've ever got to tell you that, Rodney. So I appreciate you and I love you, man. For
Wow.
real. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah.
Somebody else?
What's up?
Yeah. What's up?
Hi, my name is Michelle. I had a question about networking and connecting when you are up and coming. Like when you met people that you wanted to, I guess, stay connected to, but you weren't close to. Like, what was the consistency of that relationship? Did you hit them up? Because social media wasn't what it was, you know, a while ago. But did it mean like emailing people or just inviting them to your stuff, continuing to do that type of stuff, even with no replies? Or what did that look like for both of you?
I mean, I would say there's really no cookie cutter answer because every human is very different. And I think you just need to do a little bit of like due diligence on the person and figure out what may or may not work. And it's not a science, but trial and error. But certain people, it's like you see them somewhere, you discreetly say hi. You can, you know, send an email. Like Tom Windish, who is like one of my heroes and friend and former boss, literally responds to every email he gets. He'll be emailing with college kids for like 3 years, back and forth, and will forward it to me eventually and be like, I think this is more your world. And I was like, you've been emailing this kid for 3 years? Wow. But like, for every one of those, there's like 50 not.
Yeah.
And some of them it's because they're busy, some of it's they're just douches. But it's really just like, you need to just be personable, be real, be yourself, and just like kind of feel it out. You got a vibe. Everyone kind of has a vibe, and you need to vibrate with them.
Somebody else? Oh, you got somebody. And you can say who of them two you want to give the question.
You're like, not the green.
How you guys doing? Happy to be here. I'm Billy Baggs, up-and-coming rap artist out of Revere. I just got a question for you guys. I'm a new-coming guy. Like, what are we gonna do to bridge the gap between the old school dudes and the new school guys with the music that's going on right now? And my second thing is, you got the Joe Budden look down. You're the Boston Joe Budden today to me.
I'll jump in on that.
Thank you.
You know what? I think what you just asked right now. Did everybody understand the question? Yep. Yes. Yeah.
Do I have a comment?
There's certainly I think a pretty big chasm between, you know, I want to say that the foundation, you know, of our culture and music, you know, old school heads, and a lot of the new artists. And I think the thing that bothers me most is that, okay, it's one thing if, you know, it was just, it's not your time and you're not into it or whatever. That's, okay, cool. But don't ever disrespect it. You know what I mean? Don't ever disrespect it. Don't ever disrespect these artists that literally paved the way for you to have your platform right now.
Yeah.
And I do see that with some of these, you know, newer artists, especially the quote unquote mumble rappers or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's a place for everything, but it's really important. You got to know where you came from to really know where you're going, right? And to appreciate where you're going, you know? And in terms of what really can be done, you know what? It's really, I think it comes down to individuals, right? I think for us, for me as a DJ, my responsibility is, because I still have that platform, you know what? When I'm doing my sets, and I hope you guys get to come see a show, you know, one day, but guess what? I dig in the crates. You know what I mean? Yeah. I dig in the crates, and I make sure to include a lot of that foundation music. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what? It'll stay relevant and stay alive as long as we do what we're supposed to do. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's what I do personally. You know, it's not just about, you know, today and the latest and hottest right now. You know, it's a journey. You know what I mean? It's about where we came from and where we're going. You know, but I just hope that, you know, more of these artists will actually, you know, take time, you know what I mean, and dig in those crates as well and understand, you know, how they have that platform that they have today, you know, and the contribution, you know, of these, you know, early and foundation artists, because really they're everything.
100%. Christina, let's go up there.
One more question.
One more question.
Lucky me. Hi, my name is Sophie. So,
hi, Sophie.
Hello. For all three of the gentlemen up there, looking back retrospectively, if there is one thing you could have done different, what would have been, and
If
why?
we had a time machine to go back, tell ourselves, you know, what to change. Got it.
I mean, I think a lot of, at least my life, and I would assume many people, some of your biggest learning lessons, successes, and growth come from disaster and chaos and just bad crap. So it gives you context, helps you grow. But I would say that I did, at certain points of my career, deal with, you know, watching big agents say words I will not say because my mother would cry, nor would I say that at Harvard. But just really horrible things to their staff. And at a certain point, I started to step up and correct that. But there was a period where I did not, and I regret it.
Wow. Okay. Irie?
Nothing. I killed it, bro.
Nah. And I'm gonna leave you with this. Celebrate every small victory. Doesn't matter how small it is. Celebrate it. Okay. It's important that you do that for yourself, for your team, for your troops, to keep the morale up. Right. Again, doesn't matter how small it is. But more importantly, embrace failure. It is important that you embrace that failure, because, you know, Einstein and scientists around the world, you know, they're in the business of failing. They have to fail as many times as possible so that they can finally get the, the formula right. So if all these things didn't happen for me, all these terrible failures and heartbreaks and whatever, right?
And 808s.
Guess what? You guys wouldn't be here in this very moment. So thank you all.
Thank you, Jalen. Thank you, Brandon.
guys.
Thank you, DJ Irie. This was awesome. Thank you so much.
Everyone be
All right,
weird,
guys,
real.
we're going to break for lunch. We have a much shorter lunch now because we want to get you right back into this room for more content and more fun stuff going on. So lunch, it will be outside. Be sure to connect with all of the leaders out there. Build your team. This is your networking opportunity. Also, we expect you back here at 1:35. We will have a surprise DJ and a